You're listening to We Said It. I'm Grace. I don't like how I said that. I'm Grace, wife, mama, coach. No, that sounded like I was saying a mama coach.
I feel much better now about my spots.
Okay. You're listening to We Said It. I'm Grace, a wife, a mama, a coach, and a woman who's had to unlearn a lot of silence.
And I'm Steve, husband, dad, truth teller, and sometimes the calm one in the storm.
We've been married for over 20 years. We've seen trauma, betrayal, reconnection, joy, and all the messy in between.
This podcast is us telling the truth, not because we got it all figured out, but because we stayed in it together.
So if you're tired of the fake, the filtered, or the same 5 pieces of relationship advice, welcome.
Let's get into it.
All right.
Well, why don't we start with how we met?
Oh, yeah. So when we met, I was working at that pain rehab place in New York. Yeah. I remember when I tried to get that job. It was a long time coming. After I had Caleb, I was just ending my career in the music business, and I wanted to become a nurse so I could provide a good job and good life for Caleb. And I tried applying and getting a job as a receptionist in every opening that was available in New York City, it felt. And I was just rejected. Now, if I got an interview, I always was told, "You sorry, you're overqualified." Like, hey, I'm starting over. I don't mind starting from the bottom and building my way up. So doors kept getting shut in my face, and finally met Dr. B, who had already hired someone and said, "Come on down. I like the fact that you speak Greek." So, guys, I speak Greek and I speak Tagalog and, of course, English. So he ended up giving me an offer for the job, and I took it as the receptionist.
Nice.
Yeah,
My my work was not as it was just I was just a letter carrier for the post office.
we're not going to belittle how your position was. It was a really good career that helped us out in life.
Yeah. One thing about my job that was a little annoying is when you called out sick, you needed a doctor's note, like if we
Mm.
were in school, even though we were adults. And I had, obviously, we were living in New York City. It had snowed a nice amount. And New York snows a little different than, say, if you're further north somewhere where it's just snow. We have lots of rain snow mixtures, which makes for a very heavy snow. So sometimes shoveling 4 inches of snow is not the same as shoveling 4 inches of snow. So
Yeah, I don't miss shoveling with snow.
this particular storm, I had really just soared my back out and could not go to work. So they said, "You need a doctor's note." And I said, that's fine. I had to go to the chiropractor anyway. So I walked into the office, and there you were, all crunched up in a chair. And
Kind of like now, kind of
no,
crunched
you
up.
were really crunched up. It was what is it? One of those little rotating
Mm.
discs or whatever you call them, and somehow you were crunched up on it. And I was like, I don't know. It was almost like I was waiting for you to do a trick or something on it. But yeah, I saw you, and I was like, wow, she wasn't here last time I came in.
Hmm.
So, what did you think when you saw me?
Well, you came in, you were kind of, red in the face from the cold.
Yeah.
And I think you were wearing that yellow bubble jacket,
Maybe. Well,
but he was looking good. But instantly I was like, yeah, I would never be this guy's type. Plus, I was just getting into the dating pool again. So I took a big long break. once I knew I was, carrying Caleb inside my body. And so here at this doctor's office, Dr. Ragone was like always saying, "Are you ready? Are you ready to start dating somebody? This guy is a great guy." So when Steve walked in, he rushed to the front desk and was like, this guy has got a great job. His family comes here too. You've met them before, and he drives this yellow Mustang.
2002 GT. Ass yellow.
Like, I'm not a big a car person, but
Stick shift.
but he also made a point to let me know that you had good benefits.
I paid for my chiropractor visit.
So yeah, that's what I thought about you, and I told Dr. Argon that I don't think I'm his type.
Well, it's funny. Next appointment just happened to be on Valentine's Day.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the whole time you were just kind of running through my mind. And I was like, man, I'm more of the slow type of, oh, I'll get to know this person and then I'll ask him out 3 months from now. But with you, it just felt very natural to be more pedal to the metal. So I remember going back and
Ladies, I'm blushing.
your friend Dr. Racone said, "Oh, you had the ladies in the front going crazy after your last visit." And I said,
They were. I'm telling you, my friend there, she starts coming to the front. She takes a peek and she moves towards the back and like whispers, "Grace, come here." And she's like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "I don't know, some guy, Steven."
for those of you watching this podcast, you're looking at me going, "What?"
Oh, mm,
Had a
you're
nice
hot,
little
babe.
baby face back then, but yeah, he tells me that, and I'm thinking, well, who in the front? I hope it's the one I'm thinking of because now that just boosted me over the edge. I have to ask her out.
Oh, he told you this on Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Telling our business.
So I said, all right. So went up to the front and started some little conversation with her. And I said,
Mhm.
oh, you got big plans tonight? And you said, no, I'm just hanging out at home. And I was like, yes, single. And yeah, I asked you out. And
Yeah, I said yes. Yes.
so I remember picking you up
Mm.
and,
In that yellow Mustang.
oh, yeah, brought you out, opened the door,
Hmm.
slid you on in. And the rest is history, maybe.
Yeah. So the crazy thing, and I say crazy, but it's not really crazy. This is something that's happened to me my entire life. I just have this intuition about things. And I would say most of the time I'm correct. And when I slipped into that Mustang seat, I mean, it just takes you a few seconds to close a door and walk back to the other side to get into to get into the car. And in those few seconds, my intuition just like kicked into high gear. And I was overcome by this feeling of shit, I belong in this seat. And it was not like, yeah, I belong here, like owning it. It was more like the moment was owning me. And I just knew. So I leaned over, I unlocked your car, the door. You came and sat down, and you sitting down in the seat next to me in the driver's seat was like solidified for me that I belonged on your right side, which actually is where I sleep. I sleep on your right side.
There you go.
Yeah. It's crazy how I think everyone has these moments of intuition, and it's about, do we listen to it?
Yeah.
I think everyone has this power, and it's about really being connected to yourself and knowing different feelings, what your body's telling you, and not just your mind.
Well, you're a very spiritual person. And for those who don't think they're spiritual like myself, I'm not ideally in tune with myself. I mean, right now I work in law enforcement, and from a guy's perspective, I guess I've learned to listen to those instincts and things like that.
Mm. What keeps you alive?
Yeah, I call it my spidey sense,
Yeah.
and people wonder, how do you, it just, you just pay attention to the little signs on the inside and you learn.
Yeah.
You edit and you learn. And for those who don't know, we've been married 20 years,
Yeah.
and a lot has changed over those 20 years. We are different people now
Yeah.
than we
I
were back then. I mean, how do you think you've changed over 20 years?
Ooh, what a loaded question. I mean, if I go on physically, obviously, I think people can see I have white hair, almost looks like highlights in my hair. But this, I get asked all the time about, where did I get my hair done? Well, heaven. God is my hairstylist. So I put on weight over the last 20 over 20 years. Um, and those are the physical things, right? But inside, I have changed a lot. Some simple things like what I like to eat, what's my favorite kind of thing to drink. I used to love sweets, and now it's like, yeah, I need like sweet stuff, but not super
Yeah.
sweet. But I think my biggest change in over the last few years has really been revolutionary, where I actually can say to everybody that I love myself and like really mean it. Like
Yeah.
to the core of who I am. Like with all the messy and the ugly, I love myself so deeply.
I mean, it's odd, but for myself, I mean, I'm Puerto Rican, and it just seems growing up in New York, Puerto Rican, just typical. You're almost
Watch what you say.
grow up with letting your wearing your emotions on your
Mm.
sleeve
Oh
and
yeah.
just dealing with consequences and everything. You just react and deal with everything else
Well, you
later.
guys are Puerto Ricans are known for being so damn passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for me back then, that's how I was. Um, Now I think I've learned a lot more patience. I still have those natural reactions, so it's funny how you can know something is wrong and say I shouldn't do that, and it still takes decades to get it out of your
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
But I've
Takes
just added
practice.
some, yeah, absolutely. I've added some things around it that help me be more patient and more understanding and say, hey, maybe let's go crazy and actually take an extra 5 seconds to think about this and before I react. So
Well, you happen to be, I want to say, the most patient person I know. Um, definitely more patient than I am.
oh yeah. I would say that as well. But I want to ask the listener now, like, how have you and your partner changed after all these years? I mean, I think changes are different for everybody. And I think when you fully analyze who you were X amount of years ago and who you are now, and for those of you only married just a couple of years, I mean, where are you going?
Yeah.
Um, and I think that brings us to our next big question.
What?
Would you still choose the person you're with?
Mm. That is a really loaded question because I'll tell you, I did choose you back in 2004, right?
That's a long time ago.
But I never chose myself.
Hmm.
And I think I did things backwards. I mean, I'm glad that I did, obviously. But man, we struggled a lot because I never chose myself. I never said I was worth the love that you were giving me. So I would assume, I don't know what it felt like to be on your side, to be loving somebody who almost didn't believe you, or I was doing countdowns of when you would leave. So, choosing you, no doubt. I have no doubts today about choosing you.
Oh,
Although along the
but
way,
yesterday, I mean,
but along the way, there were times where I wasn't sure. And I think that it is okay to admit that. Because, like you said, we all change, right? But we change as a couple, but we change as individuals. And I think sometimes that gets blurred. I think some people will see that you're in a couple, you're married, that you're one. Yeah, maybe you are one, but you're not. You're still two individual people who come together and bring out the best and the worst in each other. And can you grow together?
I think it's also you function better together. But we'll
Yes.
get into that in a little bit. But
Hmm. Well, would you choose me again?
absolutely. And I mean, even looking back then, um, oddly enough, my attitude of always being right and short tempered led to surprisingly a lot of heated arguments. Even after those heated arguments, I never doubted wanting to be with you. I think as people grow together and you change, you have to adjust. And I always ask myself that question. It's an easy answer, but it's still good to pose that question to yourself and then just be honest with yourself. Would I choose my partner today?
I think
What?
you have to ask yourself that every
Yeah,
day. You
you
choose every
should.
day.
Just because, oh, nothing happened today, I don't need to. No, something did happen. You hopefully woke up to that next to that person and
Mhm.
your love should increase even if it's just a fraction every single day.
Well, I always dreamed about the day that somebody would choose me.
Well, I chose you, baby. I
I
do it again and
mean,
again.
my dad didn't choose me.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, he chose to be with another woman than my mother and left when I was young, and that was I think at such an age where I couldn't put those things into words,
Yeah.
like about 5 years old. You just you learn things and you think, man, I really got to perform for somebody to choose me. So the fact that you chose me for being exactly who I was or who at the time, and that you still continue to choose me even with um the growth I was doing, the mistakes I made.
Well, that
It
goes both ways.
Yeah, but it's just uh so profound that you love me that much. How lucky am I?
But I mean, is everybody as lucky as us? I mean, there were times through our relationship where would you say you knew how lucky we were?
No,
Or yeah, exactly.
it
So
yeah.
for all the people out there, um, just sit down and really ask yourself that question, like, would I still choose my partner and why? And I think it helps ground you.
Yeah. I will.
to what it is, because you'll think, even though we just had this argument and my initial instinct is, oh, I can't stand that person, I need to get away from them as far as possible right now. But is that how you feel for their life? Do you want to get away from them? No. Well, why do I not? And then it starts bringing you back, and it calms you down.
Yeah.
At least that's just a trick that works for me for
But
sure.
but I do want to make sure that people know we're not talking about relationships where there's abuse involved, right? You
Well,
never compromise your safety.
I think there's a difference between falling in love and versus choosing each other. How's that?
What do you mean?
Um, I deal with a lot of people who say, we'll give you 10 reasons why they shouldn't be with someone.
Mm.
And then I will ask, well, then why are we here? Because I love him.
I loves him.
Yeah.
I
And
loves
I
him.
hear it multiple times a week. And I always tell them, love is no reason to be with somebody.
Oh, it you hit it.
Yeah.
That should not be the reason you're with somebody. There's so many people that you love and you just can't be around them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a core, don't get me wrong, it's a core to staying with them because it helps other categories. But if everything is pointing in the opposite direction and your only answer is, but I stay with him because I loves him, or because we have a kid together,
Yeah.
that's the father of my child. That like I said, those are good start off points, but should never be the only thing.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer in case you guys find yourselves in relationships where long-term ones where, you know, your treatment gets categorized in abuse. So we're not talking about that. In cases like that, I think that you need to find help and try to get out of those relationships in a safe way that's safe for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's get into what choosing each other looks like. Um,
Mm.
yes, I say there's love involved. Yes, you should love the other person, obviously. There should be a comfort level that comes with that. The ability to be yourself, to have that trust level with someone where you say, I know I can count on this person, or I can be myself,
Mm.
I can do X, Y, and Z around them and
Yeah.
they'll fully understand. And I'm not just talking about letting
Well,
loose gas or something
okay.
like
Well,
that, but
I don't know how. Did you just know that that was in my mind? I mean,
of course,
because so I have a funny story.
please share.
So we were dating, and Caleb and I were sleeping over
Oh,
his apartment, and in the middle of the Caleb sleeps in between us, and in the middle of the night, I am just waking up with like a terrible gas pain, like the kind that it's not going to be quiet when you let go.
not only that, let me explain my little one bedroom New York studio-ish kind of looking place. I had a one rather big bedroom,
Yeah, it's large. Yeah.
and where I had placed my bed just so happened to be up against the wall that had the toilet because the bathroom was right next door. So could make
Wait.
people who don't normally stay there a little paranoid. So continue.
So I obviously slipped out the bed, went into the bathroom, and of course, it's a pretty nice sized bathroom, and there's just echo, and I mean, we're in the early stages in our relationship, and I struggled. Let's just say, I'm just going to leave it there as I struggled. And little did I know that this man would love me anyway. And now I don't have problem letting loose around you now.
So, listeners out there, please comment how many times you've ended a relationship due to a wild bowel movement
Oh,
or
it
something
wasn't
like
bowel
that.
movement. It was flatulence.
Either way, it's going down in the bathroom. How many times when they stepped out, you said, "Well, I thought we had something special, but you got to go."
But anyway, sorry. I just had to, it came across my
Yeah.
mind.
So, comfort, love, um, what it comes down to, how you said they're each person, you're still two individuals,
Hmm.
okay, but you have to make each other better.
Yeah.
And to all those people who, yes, but he only beats me once a week, or he only does this every once in a while, and other than that, I love him. But is that making you a better person? Is that making your life better?
No, no. When someone's beating me, I think he's trying to beat the life out of me. So you gotta go.
I think it's the most obvious thing,
Yeah.
but I mean, what about the people who don't get beat and are being just emotionally beat, so to speak? I mean, is that person making you better?
No, no, it's definitely not. But you can get blinded while you're in the relationship. So sometimes that line's really blurred, right? Um, where abuse and just mm, I don't know what word to use, but just poor judgment. But that's not truly how they are. That's not truly how they treat you. They may not even realize they've crossed that line, or coming close to crossing that line. So it's tough to judge sometimes, especially when you're in it, because you get blinded by all the things swirling around you. And then you throw some love in there, and it just completely blurs everything. But yeah, it's true. So you have to differentiate.
Um,
And
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to bring up, just thinking about 20 years.
Mm.
How about what's the difference in attraction versus young versus like older?
Yeah, I'm 49 now. And when I met you, it's a big difference, different stages of life. I want to say that, and I don't know if other women feel this way. And of course, I've had a lot of trauma, um, in my life. I won't dump it on everyone, but, being assaulted, right?
Mhm.
So the physical thing for me, um, I think took me a while to get there. And obviously, I'm attracted to men. But it wasn't until I really dealt with those the assaults and the trauma after that did I start really finding men super attractive, like really appreciating a man's physique. I wasn't really, and I've dated all sorts type of men, but I didn't really care about their bodies.
Yeah. And I think that's would be number one on a lot of people's list. When you're young, you really are like 90% looks, hey,
Yeah, I wasn't like
I
that.
want to go out with that person because look how good they look. And I think when you get older, you're, I mean, I guess
It's the
there's some
opposite for
look,
me.
there's some looks involved, but you're more,
Yeah.
how does this person carry themselves like as a whole rather than how cute is their
Mm,
face?
yes.
Like, do you want someone who's wearing their pants all extra droopy?
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe,
It's very
maybe.
it's everyone's taste. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But things like that become a factor. Also, how about job? I mean, oh, this guy is secure. Oh, that's
So I
attractive.
mean, typically in America, right? I can only speak of it because this is where I've lived. is,
Me too.
the man's gotta, work.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a great guy.
No, but what I'm saying is when you first meet somebody, like if someone told you, "Hey, it's nice to meet you. I'm a good-looking guy," or whatever, I work late. I'm a cashier at McDonald's. You have a different view of them than
Mhm.
if they told you, "Hey, I'm a bookkeeper," or something along those lines. I mean,
Yep.
I think when you're young, you don't care that they work at McDonald's. You're like, "Heck yeah, look how hot he is, though."
I guess I was different. I could see that depending on your maturity level, but I think when I was if I met somebody, sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted. If I met somebody and they were working at McDonald's or even didn't have a job, my question or my conversation after that would be, what are your goals? Like what are your plans? What do you want to
Yeah,
be?
yeah. Future.
Mhm.
You're more attracted to what kind of future is this going to look like with this person.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're young, you may not be really focused on that.
Mhm. I know.
Um, but as life goes, you have those moments that deepen your relationship, that give you that extra bonding to the other person.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think one of ours was moving out of New York,
yeah.
moving to a different place.
Not only was it moving, but we went from having family around to it was just us.
Yeah.
So there was more reliance of, hey, it's really just
Yeah,
me,
self-reliance.
and we got to take care of these kids. And
Mhm. Yeah,
um,
we have four children. And one of them we almost lost.
yeah,
Yeah.
our oldest, Caleb, was in a very bad motorcycle accident. And I mean, they had to rush him to the hospital. And
It was touch and go
yeah,
from the very beginning and
I mean, he was what, 20 at the time?
19.
19. Um, he wound up having about 7 surgeries or so
Yeah.
and lost a leg. And it not only changed his life, his physical life, but it changed ours. I
Oh,
mean, we spent what, a
a month and a half. We were,
month and a half
yeah.
in the hospital, basically. I mean, we didn't, that first 3 or 4 weeks, we never left the hospital. Then we started taking shifts, but
Well, the thing that's so tough about that is that he wasn't our only child. So
yeah,
we had to
yeah,
find balance with showing our commitment and dedication to Caleb, but without letting our other children feel neglected. And so that was a quite a feat for us, but I think we did it. We were able to pull it through, and everyone learned the lessons of family
yeah.
and sticking it through and what is your duty at that time. It was tough. I mean, we'll do an episode about that whole experience, but that definitely deepened our bond.
It did because we were the only people who could really know how we felt.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, oh, you don't know how I feel. Yeah, I do, because I'm a parent of this child as well. And
Yeah.
to see someone so full of energy just being relegated to just laying there and just being miserable
I know.
was something that only we understood with each other. And that definitely brought us closer together.
Yeah, and we'll save it for the episode about Caleb and the whole situation.
Dealing with trauma, yeah.
But that boy or that young man now
Yeah.
is doing
He's
his
doing
thing.
great. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
he's
doing
no
his thing.
sad. He's well, like you said,
Anyway,
we'll get
yes.
into that. But
So what?
deepening bonds.
Yeah,
What
deepening
else?
bond.
How about when I became a police officer?
Ooh,
This
yeah.
wasn't she met a police officer. This was 10 years into
Sorry.
our marriage,
Do you know how many
I became a police officer. So,
how many police officers I turned down that would ask me out when we was in New York before you? They'd be like
yeah.
talking, and then, what do you do? Oh, well, I'm a police officer. Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you, and goodbye.
So I knew this going in, which is why I had to backdoor it and
No, you
sneak
didn't
in.
know.
Uh,
But it was your destiny.
yeah. But it's I think what show was that? Southland put it best when he said, "You have a front row seat to the greatest show on earth,"
Mm.
and it absolutely is. And
Well, that was really tough for me to support you in. It was like a push and pull for me. No, I don't want him to be a police officer. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of loving someone that could be ripped away from me. And the last moment I had with them was it. You know,
yeah,
there will be no more moments. And so every time I knew that that was something I would have to live with, where these chances I'm taking every day. But I also know what an incredible police officer you are, how the community relates to you, and I'm so glad that the city has you helping the community to keep it safe. And they the community really relates to you. They love speaking to you about situations and what's going on, and even if they're in the wrong, you just have a way of making them feel safe. And so it was tough to support you, um but I did. And I still continue to do that today.
oh,
And I think that whole situation of which not everyone knows about being in a police family. Now you do because you grew up that way.
yes,
Um, but I didn't. And so what it does, it deepens your bond and you're just grateful for every moment. And I treat the moments before you leave like, okay, I'm going to think positive and I'll see you when you get home.
yeah, and I mean, even growing up in a police family, I had four uncle police officers, my father, and an aunt. So,
Oh yeah.
growing up in that, you hear a lot of the great stories and such like that, and even growing up that way, I still wasn't prepared
Yeah.
for just the drain emotionally, mentally,
Mhm.
and those things affect how we're kind of at home. Um, Also, when it comes to our bond, I remember when you got sick with COVID, and this
Mm.
was way back at the beginning of
Yeah.
COVID.
Right in the beginning
And
where it wasn't really known that it was
yeah,
around.
this was before they canceled the NBA season and such,
Yeah.
and it became a big thing. But um,
COVID gave me a heart attack
yeah,
from the inflammation. It completely inflamed my heart.
you went to the hospital. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with you. They just sent you home.
Mhm.
And we got home. You were what I would consider normal sick. And then about another day later, you were almost paralyzed in bed. And yeah, that was tough. I
I
mean,
I was pretty much dying.
I didn't know what to do with you. I tried to, I mean, I'd have to basically carry you to the bathroom, even
Yeah, it was
just
pretty bad.
you didn't move. And
I
it's
didn't eat.
scary to see someone who was what you would consider healthy, were able and moving around just fine a week ago, and now all of a sudden, like you said, I was like, oh my God, she's like dying right in front of me. It was very heartbreaking, and to finally, after your long recovery, just have you back, just,
Yeah, it
I
was tough.
mean, it like pushes your heart to the edge, and and then it comes back, and when it just comes back stronger. So my love for you was definitely stronger after that, for
Oh,
sure.
I appreciated all the love you gave me, but you know what's ironic about these situations is that there are things that deepened our bond, but there are definitely things that could tear a couple apart.
Absolutely.
You could do the opposite. So it's all about how you go about it, right? And so I just want to acknowledge that it wasn't easy doing any of these things. It was tough.
Yeah.
So, like when we were dealing with Caleb's accident, I worried about that. But at the same time, I had to worry about everything else too.
Yeah.
But we would check in with each other.
The advice I would give to people is you have tendency during trauma to kind of shrink into yourself. I don't know how else to say it,
Mm-hmm.
but earlier in this podcast, we talked about the trust you have and just opening yourself up to that other person to reach that comfort level. I think you have to really rely on that. Just say, hey, I'm going through it. This is how I'm reacting to it. And then that person, I mean, you kind of support each other
Yeah, absolutely.
now.
Yeah. But I choose you. I chose you every day during those situations,
Yeah.
even when it was hard.
It's like one day, but I choose you every day as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't get here on accident. 20 plus years is not an accident. It
No.
is, you know what I like to describe it as? Um, that we were dancing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Learning each other's steps to the dance that we had together, right? The music. And then someone turned off the lights. And then we still kept dancing in the dark. And sometimes we trip over each other. Maybe sometimes we don't even know where each other is in the room, but we don't give up. We don't just go, where's the door? We
Yeah.
just keep searching and looking and reaching out to each other in the dark. And then one day you see a light. So it's not like an overnight thing, right? But we find each other in moments even,
No.
right? There's joy mixed in there. It's not like everything is dark. And I think that's like the big important thing is that I know I want to stay. It's just knowing that you want to stay and trying to figure out how to make it work.
Um, just do it together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Work on yourselves and make sure that your partner always knows where you're at. You know, if you're having a hard time, hey, this is what this bothered me. And it's just up to your partner to say, okay, I'm with you on this. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And let's get through it together. Like, what can I do to support you? What can I do to help you?
I don't want people thinking that this is perfect because sometimes, you'll tell your partner you want something, you need something, and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm having a bad day too.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not perfect.
But we're working on it, and you should too.
Yeah.
So,
But I choose you today and your fine ass. So, mm,
well, I'd like to thank everybody for listening.
yeah. If today hit you in the chest, that wasn't an accident. Say something to somebody, yourself included. If it made you laugh, cry, or finally feel seen, pass it on. Subscribe to What Do You Say? I said that wrong. Subscribe to What Did You Say? It's our monthly letter where we go even deeper. And follow us on Instagram at We Said It with Stephen Grace for the behind scenes, wild takes, and bonus truths.
Yeah, we said it. Catch you in the next episode.